got a question. If you'd hear me out. In your defense, you never had a chance. And so tell me straight, I won't go. This is our time now, I'm sure. Make no mistake that we are closer than we're far. Embrace for impact, and fight your fears apart. Embrace for impact, I'm the future's engineer. And baby, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, and baby, I'm here, I'm here, I've got a question. If you'd hear me out. In your defense, you never had a chance. And so tell me straight, I won't go. This is our time now, I'm sure. Make no mistake that we are closer than we're far. Fight your fears apart. Embrace for impact, I'm the future's engineer. And baby, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. And baby, I'm here, I'm here, baby, I'm here, I'm here, embrace for impact, find your fears apart. Embrace for impact, I'm the future's engineer. And baby, I'm here, I'm here.
Time is money. Yeah. Time is money. Yes. I got my mind on the paper, I ain't losing. Money ain't going nowhere, so I'm cruising. Yeah. Even when you got it, you ain't even gotta prove it. Blow it all at night and double up, that's how you do it. I'm just trying to get my bread right. I'm just trying to get my bread right. I'm just trying to get my bread right. And I'm grinding every day, every night. Do whatever for you long as the money talk. I'm on the grind all the time, it ain't nothing, boss. I'm a one-man army, I front the cost. Always double up whenever I took a loss. Now it's top floor suites with the sky view. God bless me and I ain't even said I chew. Sarcastic, especially when your bitch through. We on that red dot drone, she don't miss you. I'm just posted, cigar smoking, lightweight loaded, but cooler than the coldest. Cooler than the motherfucker told him in the past. At the top looking down, I see the snakes in the grass. I got my mind on the paper, I ain't losing. Money ain't going nowhere, so I'm cruising. Even when you got it, you ain't even gotta prove it. Blow it all at night and double up, that's how you do it. I'm just trying to get my bread right. I'm just trying to get my bread right. I'm just trying to get my bread right. And I'm grinding every day, every night. No black card, just my black broad. And the snow bunny, both of them get along. I call it every day, you call it boss status. That's the difference between me and you, silly rabbit. Grown man shit, thinking about my next move. That's not my best move, it's just a chess move. Checkmate, you thought it was over. Now I'm gone and I'm eating off my next plate. The grind never stops, that's why I'm respected. Deposits in the bank, I don't even need a necklace. Got everything I need, no checklist. I might need champagne to go along with breakfast. I got my mind on the paper, I ain't losing. Money ain't going nowhere, so I'm cruising. Even when you got it, you ain't even gotta prove it. Blow it all at night and double up, that's how you do it. I'm just trying to get my bread right. I'm just trying to get my bread right. I'm just trying to get my bread right. And I'm grinding every day, every night. We grinding all around the clock. Yes. Grind never stops. We ain't worried about y'all, but we on the grind every day trying to get it all. We ain't never losing. Hoes stay choosing. Time is money, ENT. Can't nobody fuck with me. I'm still on the 8, ain't worried about nothing. Nothing changed but the change, I ain't never frontin'.
All right, hello everybody, and welcome to episode number 3 of For the Bread, the Gears of War interview show. You're killing me here. I'm staring at your screen too. The Gears of War interview show featuring the best Gears of War personalities, players, commentators, you name it, in the world. We're here today with my man, my brother from another mother, the man across the pond, Triple B, current Gears of War esports caster and caster extraordinaire, Benson Bow. Was that good enough for you?
That was pretty good. I'll give you that. I will give you that. That was a good intro. One of the best intros I've had. So
Thank you.
Props. Thank you for the good
Clearly,
intro.
I know who you are, but for those of you out there in the stream, maybe you're tuning in for the first time, why don't you go ahead and give them a little story about yourself, a little background for those who don't know you.
So I'm an esports commentator. I've done pretty much every game there is to do, and I actually mean that. I've genuinely done them all, from Hearthstone, League of Legends, CSGO, Call of Duty, Gears of War now, of course, done Halo as well. Currently now working at Activision Blizzard, which is great fun. They're talent normally you'll see me normally, I guess, on Call of Duty stuff. I'm a host for the CWL, the Call of Duty LAN League. But in terms of casting, right now I'm primarily doing Gears of War, and that shit is some hot fire.
That shit is some hot fire. Well said. That's the only way you can really say it when you're dealing with Gears of War. You got to get a little savage sometimes. So, speaking of that, let's get into the Gears of War stuff, all right? We gave a little background on you, a little bit of a who you are. Now let's go into what we most recently saw, Gears of War Atlantic City. So the Atlantic City recap, most of us were there. We saw Optic Gaming reclaim their throne, as some people say throne, over Envious. Now, when talking to you, which I'm talking to you right now, how do you think, when you imagine the event breaking down all the teams, where they placed, how did it go? Did it kind of turn out like you expected, or were there some teams that finished kind of where, a little disappointing, or just your basic thoughts of like how it played out?
Well, obviously, I know there's some players in the chat, don't want to be disrespectful to any of them, but right now there's just a clear tier gap, right? You have tier 1, which is Optic Envy. As it stands, doesn't look like anyone is going to be able to beat them. Like, you need to have everyone firing on all cylinders if you want a chance of beating either of those two squads. So, we talk about who did we expect for the grand final. Shocker. Optic Envy. That was pretty much on everyone's list. Third place, that's where I thought we may see a bit of a mix-up. And honestly, after day 1 of the event, I was looking at Echo Fox and I was like, this is their event, dude. They're about to steamroll. They've got momentum. They've got hype. There was so much energy. And then it just kind of disappeared on Sunday. Not really sure what to happen with that. Ghost Gaming, they made a phenomenal run. I don't even know how they did it, because they looked like they were playing with no thumbs on Friday. But come Sunday, honest to God, they were playing phenomenal. It was like back to the Ghost you expected. But I expected a different team breaking into top 3, I think first and second, with so many things that happen kind of in between events, which we'll probably touch on in a little bit. No one's going to be Optic and Envy. It's as simple as that. Like, and if you beat one, guess what? You got to beat another one, and that's just going to be so tough to do. It's going to be so hard to do.
And you kind of touched on it already, but I mean, the question I was going to throw to you right now, because I had E United and I had Echo Fox 3 and 4. I had Echo Fox actually third over United, I believe. Biggest surprise of the event and biggest letdown of the event, I guess team wise, what you saw there.
Biggest surprise was probably. I have to give it to Ghost. I know that's going to surprise a lot of people, ironically, surprise. But they generally looked terrible on Friday. They did. I'm just being completely honest with you. They looked so bad. They just didn't look good. And the fact that they somehow, some way just fought their way through, you got to give them some serious love. You do. I was kind of surprised a little bit by international teams not breaking past that top 8 mark again, because they've just been so good. Like they're so close. But there's just like this mental gap. I'm convinced at this point for international teams, it isn't skill. It's just a mental block. It's as if they get to that round every single event, and they just can't get past it. As soon as one of them does, if it's Splice or Epsilon, then I think you'll see more teams kind of get past that in terms of like your Vitality, for example. Maybe they could get top 8. I know it sounds crazy now, but you go over to Paris, home field advantage, who knows? In terms of kind of the team that was probably the consistent one, I think you have to give props to your Optic, your Envies, and as well Echo Fox, man. I was so impressed with them. If they'd have carried on that energy and that momentum into Sunday, they could have easily made it to that grand final and potentially, mix things up a little bit.
Now, do you think, touching on the EU teams for a second, do you think if there was a way or to make this happen, say Epsilon or Vitality, they flew out a week before the event, right? They came over here and all the teams agreed, kind of like what Halo used to do back in the day, Team House. And Epsilon and Vitality could play all these guys on land the week before the event and get a little experience. Do you think that would make them improve that much to move up the ladder?
So much. I spent, ironically, all of Sunday night in Atlantic City screaming at Epsilon. Like, screaming at them, saying, you guys are idiots. Just fly out 2 weeks. 2 weeks before the event. Practice against North America. Surprise, you're going to know what they do.
The question is, though, do you think North America would allow them to scrim them on land, or are they going to be like, nah, guys, we're going to play you at the event?
What are they going to do? They're going to blacklist an international team? That's just stupid. I think if any team was to blacklist any other team, that's just seriously poor practice, because guess what? If you are a team like E United, if you are a team like Echo Fox, and you run up against Epsilon, or you run up against Vitality, or you run up against Splice, you need to know what they do. You need to be as well practiced for yourself as the other team does as well. It'd be crazy not to scrim them. But honestly, I think even your lower tier North American teams, like your teams that are kind of between that 9 and 18 mark, just practice against them. Anything is good. But for me, the biggest thing I think Epsilon specifically need is a coach. Until they get a coach, I cannot see them breaking past top 6. They need a coach.
All right.
So important for them.
It's a big topic in Gears of War 2. Some people think the coaches are, for a while, it's kind of like, are they necessary? Do we need a coach? And now I think it's more apparent than ever that the coach is actually more helpful than it was in past Gears of War games. In my opinion, at least. I mean, I don't know what you think about that. Maybe you want to touch on that real quick.
I would agree. I think there's 2 different types of coaches. Well, actually, there's 3 different types of coaches, and this is probably Gears of War specifically. You have your stopwatch guys who will sit there and they'll time stuff, which is important. Then you'll have your hype guys who are just gonna fucking scream. Like, let's just be honest, you're gonna get a double kill. They're like, yeah, you're the best.
Let's go, baby. That helps sometimes too, though. Like when
no, it does. I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
You're the fucking best.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. There's like I said, there's 3 different types of coaches. Then your third coach is the coach who's actually going to coach. And what I mean by that is he does everything. He does the first 2 parts, but then he also records stats. He knows who's good on what map. He knows when it comes to map bans and picks, what do we need to ban? What's our worst map? What have we been playing well on? What have we been playing bad on? Oh, well, we're playing a United. Well, what is a United specifically this event shit the bed on? Right. Oh, they've shit the bed on Foundation? Guess what map number 1's going to be? It's going to be Foundation. To me, the fact that some teams don't have that blows my mind. You're immediately at a disadvantage, and you do have good coaches out there that do exactly that. Just sadly, in my opinion, not enough of them.
Yeah. Well, plug for myself. I'll be doing it in Vegas, but we'll get to that later.
There you go. Hopefully you're number 3.
I'll be number 4. I'll make a new breed. But now we had the biggest surprise, which is no surprise to everybody. I'm sure Ghost Gaming. Biggest letdown. I'm sure we're gonna get into this again a little later on this topic. But biggest letdown for a team. We could just touch on it real quick, and then we're gonna get on to. I'm
gonna say United, and probably international teams not breaking past top 8 again. Probably I look more at United because I there was just such hype around them. Yes, you can make the argument. Okay, they didn't have enough time to practice, but I mean that's what happens when you make a roster change after every damn event. Like, what are you expecting?
We're getting into it. It's coming right now. Let me go into it. We got the recap done. Pretty much all we need to do. It's everybody's favorite part about Gears of War. The week after the event, now known as Roster Mania. Okay? Let me just touch up something real quick here for you. So, since Gears of War 4 has started, and these aren't all of them, these are just some of them, organizations that have been in and out of kind of Gears of War and had the teams either break up, players leave, quit, whatever it may be. Bot Empire, Enix, NRG, Grim Gaming, Hazard, Panda, Vex, Vanquish, Gosu, Panda Global, Revenge, Orbit, and Vanquish. That's just a little taste of teams that have come and gone, and the orgs coming in and out. And as me, I want to see orgs grow and stay in Gears of War and build it and build like a following and a community. But Roster Mania does happen every time. Team changes happen, and team change first we're going to go over, I guess, the big team change. E-United dropping Soto, picking up Zerpting. Let's get on that first, and I'll let you kind of start with that.
What the fuck are they doing? That's the best way I can start this whole conversation. Soto played really, really well at the event. It doesn't even make sense. The real kicker of this roster change was you had E-United management, who I'm really, really good friends with. I coached one of them back when he was playing Call of Duty professionally, are tweeting out saying, I don't even have time to make friends with my players. Am I the only one who looks at that and thinks, that's pretty fucking sad? Like what?
It's bad.
It's like a fucking revolving door.
Is it?
Can we please stop? It is. That is so bad. That is so unbelievably bad. From a management point of view, it gets to the point where you can't build anything. You just have a name. You have a brand that's just out there. You don't have familiar faces. Yes, you have Demo, who's been there since the beginning. I'll give Demo his props, but still. What are you trying to do here? Like I said, it's a revolving door of players. It's not consistent. It's not good for the esport. It's not good for the team because guess what? They're no longer beating up to gaming in winners bracket finals for the first time in the game. No, they're failing. They're not playing well because you don't have enough time between events to actually practice. I love Roster Mania. I'm going to be the first one to hold my hands up and say I love the drama. I love it. It's juicy. It's fun.
Well, you're here. That's how you're on the show.
Exactly.
So
that's how you grow communities. I can honestly tell you, someone who has been around so many different esports my entire life, from Halo, Call of Duty, and now Gears of War. When you talk about the console, they're the big three, right? I've been around them. I've seen how they work. They're all the same. They are legitimately all the same. There's no difference in how you grow an esport, in my personal opinion. And I've seen Roster Mania and Call of Duty happen. And yeah, everyone gets on Twitter and they start getting on their phones like, yeah, oh my God, did you see the drama? Oh, you fucking whatever. The drama is real. And that's how you can kind of grow an esport. Yeah, 100% agree. But there comes a point where you have to sit back and think, all right, we got to do what's best for us. Okay, we're playing for $1 million this year. And you're going to change team every event?
Every event. I mean, look at... They're the first team. E-United's the first. You know this already. E-United's the first team to send Optic to losers before grand finals. Still, and
they changed the team after that.
I know every event. I know here.
Knocked Optic Gaming into the losers bracket. No one had done it all year. You get home and you go, fuck
well,
it.
Well, Envious did it, but in grand finals. Envious did in grand finals, but before grand finals.
No one had done it. And then they reset. They just changed their team. Please, someone tell me what was wrong with that United team in London.
Chat, let us know if you got some comments. Let us know why they broke up. And you can at Benson right now. At Benson in the chat. And yeah, you said it pretty much perfectly. United every event they kind of changed their roster, and yeah, I always think about it a little bit like sports too. Like somebody asked me, oh yeah, football, and they say New York Giants. I remember Phil Simms, and like I start saying all these players that are associated with that brand. Right now, I think a good player to kind of do that with is Franchise from Envy. Franchise has been with Envy since UE. So when you think, like, if it's 5 years down the road and Benson goes, hey, Deluxe, remember Envy and Gears? I'm like, yeah, Envy, man. Fran led that squad, and that was legit. And you get 5 years down the line, maybe from now, and they say, Deluxe, remember United? I'll be like, yeah, who the hell was on that team? Like, I can name, like, a big list of players, but who is the actual fives they ran with? Like, I'm not quite sure.
I can honestly say Franchise is probably one of my favorite players in any esport I've ever been involved with. He is the most down-to-earth player who actually gets it, if that makes sense. Like, he understands how to grow the esport he loves, the esport that he's been playing for years and years and years. I've sat down late at night and had conversations with him at events, and it's just been, wow, this guy actually gets it. Like, he is a smart individual. Whereas
Very
other
good
players,
player, yes.
they just don't get it. Like, other players don't understand that if you keep making team changes consistently, fans cannot become fans of your team. They can't become fans of you. You know, it's very, very tough when, 1 week, oh, who are you playing for? I'm on United. Oh, well, next week I'm on Echo Fox. Well, I might be on Optic Gaming in a week. Who the hell knows? Oh, to finish the month, I'll be on Team Envious. If you're a fan trying to follow that kind of player movement, at one point, you're just going to say, fuck this, dude. I'm not following you anymore. I'm going to go find someone more consistent.
How much do you think of that? Because when you think Gears of War, we're pretty new still to the esports scene. For a long time, it was grassroots community, this kind of stuff. How much, so now we have orgs. For the first time, people are getting paid a salary to play for an org for Gears of War. Never been done before, like really previously. And now we're seeing people swap, maybe having the mentality of like, yeah, I'll go from a one top 6 team to another top 6 team. Doesn't matter to me because I'm going to make the same money pretty much, and I'm going to get my money. We'll place at the event, but we're not going to win. Do you wish? I mean, I know you do wish, but like basically, what I'm trying to say is, don't you want to see more people play to win? To beat Optic, to beat Envy, and the only way, in my opinion, of doing that is to get your 5 and get on the same page and build off that. I mean,
absolutely.
What's your thoughts?
How else you gonna? What you gonna pray? A unicorn fucking flies across main stage and disconnects their Xboxes?
I wish I had a unicorn little picture.
What's the game plan, dude? You're not gonna be able to do it without a serious amount of practice. Like, name any athlete in the world, any athlete you want. Any of them, from any sport. Tom Brady, Cristiano Ronaldo, Michael Jordan. Do you think he practiced? Probably. Do you think he practiced with his team? No. Yeah. Shocker. Really crazy, right? Team chemistry is a thing. It really is a thing. And you need to make sure that you're really kind of nailing that. Because if you're not, you're going into an event completely, a new team. You're not going to have good vibes. Like, I personally cannot see that mindset. And the more important thing for me is, I can tell you right now, I'll tell you face to face, anyone who's met me at a Gears of War event, or someone like Blaze, for example, who I work with almost every day, knows I love Gears of War and I love this community as well. I think it's an amazing community. I'm emotionally invested in this community. I want to see it succeed. I love hearing that. And I want to see it grow. We got to really put a stop to all this roster change nonsense, dude. Yeah. Like, I'm sorry. I'm gonna say it. We need a roster lock. Like, There has to be. Like, I wrote it down, right? And bear with me on my thought process.
No,
we had Columbus.
The floor is yours, my friend.
We had Columbus, we had London, we had Mexico, Atlantic City, Paris, and then Vegas, right? We have 6 events. There's 2 ways you could have done it. Roster lock at the very, very beginning before Columbus, and you force teams to stay together for at least 2 events. At least 2 events. Is that really that difficult? No, not really. Then you can make a period where you could change rosters, right? Between Mexico, then roster lock right before Mexico, same roster for AC. Then you can have a period now where you could theoretically change, and the last 2 events your rosters are locked. Or what I think you should have done is gone Cebus, London, and Mexico. Your rosters are locked. They're in, dude. Whatever you pick, they're in. That's the only way teams are going to improve, and you almost need to kind of force it. I'm just going to say you need to force it, because these players, the issue is these players are playing event for event, right? Yeah. That's the issue. It isn't like you're playing in a league. It isn't like there's this massive infrastructure. It is just event. You have 6 events, each averaging, 200,000? Like, I get it. You want your best possible chance of walking away with money. Of course I understand that. Absolutely I understand that. But at the same time, if you're making a change between every event, you really think that's going to give you the best possible chance of walking away with the maximum amount of money.
Right, and that's also a problem with, like, so that's another big problem, too. Like, I don't know, some people might be upset about this, but I'm just going to say it because, it's the thoughts I have. Like, the orgs, basically. So there's teams right now, there's going to be teams that are going to say, go to orgs and be like, hey, we're a team, we're going to Paris, Paris, Gears of War, fund us to go out there. Fund us as your team. We'll support your team. We'll play for whatever, BensonGaming.com or whatever the hell it may be.
Good one.
Orgs are so hesitant to step into that because they know after Paris, we probably don't have a team anymore.
If you're pick any big organization you want. Let's say Fnatic, Cloud9, FaZe. If you're any of those guys looking in, right? Just think about it. You're looking in. You're gonna invest in a team knowing that your players are probably going to leave. You're going to have to deal with that. Like, No, not
Yeah.
really.
And I know it's about like I know
Astros did it right.
like I know everybody wants to go. Obviously, these trips are expensive. Not everybody has like the funds to go, so they do look for support, which I understand that part of it. But at the same time, you know, I'm one of the older guys in esports and in Gears of War. You know, I'm not gonna say how old I am. I'm 33. Fine, whatever. I'm 33. So I was when I started playing back when I played other games, not even Gears of War. Orgs weren't not really a big thing, and it was all about it was pride too. Like when you went to a tournament with a jersey of a team on, like you weren't thinking
It's a big deal.
about snaking them for money or for another team. It was like, yeah, they supported me. I'm gonna try and build this organization up best I can. Try to support them. I'm gonna try to grow with them and not just use them to get a bigger org kind of thing. Like
I don't
that.
want to say it's the millennial attitude, but like I saw tweets on my timeline pre-AC from people East Coast, right? People in around New York area saying, "Oh, you know, I'm not gonna bother going. It's too expensive." Train ticket from Manhattan, it was $80, right? $80 to get you to AC. I'm sure you could have crashed on someone's sofa. Back in the day, like back in my day when I was, you know, first coming through, bro, players would do whatever the fuck they could to get to events to prove themselves.
When was your day?
I
What was back in
once
your
had
day?
a player. Oh yeah, we're going back a fair couple
not
of
as old
years.
as my
Let's put it
day, I
that
don't
way.
think, but,
I actually had a team who I know of walk for 5 hours just to get to the event. That's how much they wanted to play. They just walked and they crashed like in friends' rooms at the hotel. Like that was back in the day where teams actually really, really wanted to play and they wanted to prove themselves against the best. Now we have people, you know, not going out doing everything they possibly can. Obviously, you know, money is money, right? It's different for different people. You can't say, oh, everyone should be able to just get money. That's not how it works. But still, man, like I feel like the amateur. I hate the word amateur. It's a stupid word. Or the up-and-comers is probably a better way of saying it. I feel like they don't want it as much as, you know, the older guys did back in their day. Like, if you ask some of the older players, like, oh, how badly did you really, really want it? They would have they would have done anything for a win. Even now, like, you look at how much it means to some of the players on the pro circuit, bro, it means everything to them. And it's like everyone should have that mentality. And it's very hard to grow that organically within a community when you always have these like team changes because it promotes change. It doesn't promote hard work. And to me, that's just not a good thing. And that isn't stable to grow an esport.
And it's passion too. I mean, I've always been the person to say this. And look, we know Gears of War has its problems, right? The game's not perfect. People are going to complain about this shot and that shot. I get it. I do the same thing. I 83%, 83 again. Like, you know, I'm doing that all day, every day. But when it comes down to it, like pretty much the majority of the community, I think, started playing the game because of the passion for it. The game was different from a lot of other games. It's not Call of Duty. It's not Halo. The community is always a smaller, more tight-knit community. Everybody kind of knows each other. Like, back in all these years coming into this, like when we had hype stations, even before that, the game was survived on the passion everybody had for the game for those years. And now that we have this big esports $1 million circuit, I feel like some of that's been lost on somewhere. I don't know where it went. But, like, when I look at players now, I always hope, like, you know, the money's great, but don't just play for that money. Play because you actually want to play and enjoy it and want to help grow it and make something bigger out of it. And then everybody can have a career in esports, you know, if we make it big enough.
And that's the big thing. Okay, yeah, great. If I was a Gears of War pro and the $1 million circuit got announced, I would have peed my pants with excitement. Not gonna lie. Would have been fucking hysterical through the roof, like freaking out. Like I was there firsthand. I saw what it meant to so many people that this was announced, and it was unbelievable. Still, that is one of the most memorable moments I've had in esports. Is just seeing the crowd freak out, like people lifting up chairs, chanting. Fuck, it was amazing. It was great. But then I sit back and I think, okay, well, what about next year? Like, what about next year? If there is there going to be a next year? I don't know.
I said that, and people came at me. People came at me.
What are
you talking about?
How are you going to come out? Like, there's no way that you can come out someone like that for just saying for next year. I don't know if there's going to be a next year, but there's one thing I'd be damn sure that I would be doing, making sure that I turn a hobby into a career. That's just a fact. You've been blessed with a year where you can really go and you can do that thing you've been grinding for years and years of your life. Turn it into your career. Yeah, okay, if you're winning events, that's great. You can put it in your bank account. But what else are you going to do? Like, and that's where I've said this thousands and thousands of times, and it really, really frustrates me still, because I think it's honestly, the growth of this esport is fully in the hands of the players. Content is king.
Ooh,
like,
we didn't get to that yet. We're going to get into that.
Oh, fine.
Hold it for a second.
I'll hold back. I'll hold back. I'm ready.
Hold him back, bro. we're still on roster mania. So
Okay,
obviously
I
went to E United. You gave them their little piece. You can give them more later for sure. I mean, we got plenty of time left. But some other changes. And the thing is, not all the team changes are like them dropping somebody. Sometimes people leave. They go to do whatever, go to school or whatever the reason may be. But these are just some of the other team changes. Panda changed it up. A big one for me, Pedro Juan Jose. You want to talk about, look at examples where we were saying before, where if you want to beat these top-tier teams, you got to form that 5-man squad, stick together, work at it. Between Panda and PJJ, those two squads, they had something going. You know, they finished 12th, 9th or 12th.
Jose definitely did.
They
played
started to
phenomenal.
close the gap. I mean, PJJ was taking maps off E United. You know, they were going 2-1 every time with them, I think. They were closing the gap. I mean, they weren't like, maybe they weren't one event from winning something big, but maybe 2, maybe 3, who knows. But when things like happen between those teams and that chemistry gets broken up, and now they're on a team together actually, which is funny. But like, I'm not saying they can't do well. It's just I hate seeing that because I'm like, guys, just stick it out a little longer. I don't care what you got going on. Like, if there's any way you can stick it out and just improve on what your like small mistakes were at the other events, maybe you got a chance to be the next thing. Maybe you can build something here and go from there. But like, yeah, those two teams changed their roster up. Grim Gaming, Gosu, and Hazard. I don't know if they're officially out completely, but right now they don't have teams, which is another thing that upsets me because, you know, they pick up teams last minute for the event and now they have no teams. So
it's like, where did my players go? Oh, they left. It's like, I'm upset.
Even Epsilon, by the way, I didn't mention that one. Even Epsilon.
Epsilon, I feel Epsilon is a different case than everybody else. It's same when Splice made a change, right? Like, there are teams who were consistently together and they were trying to make a change to actually improve. Like, they've tried a lot of things, I think, and I feel like their only last result was we need a team change. And I can respect that because they haven't done it after every single event.
They stuck it out pretty long. I mean,
I think I saw somewhere on Twitter that was one of the longest teams, like in terms of players or something like that for Epsilon. I think it was one of the Epsilon players actually tweeted that out. I may be wrong, but it was one of the longest like standing teams, and they decided, hey, you know, we do need to make that team change, which I get, right? There's only so many times you're going to place top 8 and not break into top 6. It sucks, right? You're going to have to make a team change at some point. But you know, other teams like you look at Pedro Juan Jose, why? They're such a good team. They really are a good team.
E6, that could have been part of the reason too when he went to E6. A lot of times you see one player has, you know, goes to another team, and then the team kind of from there goes down.
Right? It's a domino effect.
Same thing with Zerpting. As soon as United.
Exactly. As soon as a big team has a space opening, everything kind of shuffles there, and I get it. And I think that goes back to almost the way it's been set up this year, which is no one's fault. I just think roster locks, if there ever is another season, need to be implemented. That would be the number one piece of feedback I would give anyone who's in that pay grade who makes those decisions. You need roster locks.
True, and I will definitely support that. You know, I'll blast that on Twitter every day if I have to. But United with Zerpting, while we kind of mention his name, what do you think about the pickup with that squad? I mean, not for the immediate future, but is that going to be a lot? They said they're going to stick with it until Vegas, right? Are they sticking with the roster until Vegas? Are they going to go with the roster until Vegas?
I'm a betting man. Absolutely not. No.
No way.
No. Are they going to be team change after Paris? Why not? It's a revolving door. At this point, I'm not putting them even in my top 5 for Paris.
Oof.
Like, I mean, how you tell me they're going to get enough practice in before Paris? With a brand new team, when you're going up against the likes of Optic Gaming, Team Envious, Echo Fox now, who I think are going to learn from a shitty Sunday. Then you have Ghost as well, who all of a sudden I think they're going to learn from a shitty start to a tournament. I think you put all those things together, and I honestly, I think United, I think this could be kind of a little bit of a big slowing down for them.
Oof. All right. Well, we'll get on to them maybe for sure a little later too.
I think even their management is embarrassed, dude.
Well, you saw, was it Burns that put the tweet out there that kind of explained what they're going to go with?
He did. Burns did. Like, they've all been tweeting about it, and it's just like, I feel bad for them.
All right, let me ask you this then. You're the coach manager at E United, right? Benson E United, EU Benson, whatever you want to say. And let's go back in time, maybe before AC, or you know what, after AC, whatever it may be. If you want to fix E United right now, what do you do? What players are you like? What does United? What is their problem other than the roster changes constantly? What are they missing?
I would just say it's just roster changes. I honestly believe the fact that they made a team change after London still. I look back and I think, what the hell? Like, what was the game plan? Why? Like, it didn't make sense. Like, it didn't make sense. Then you obviously the whole thing with Excels came through. That fucking disappeared real quick. Obviously, there was stuff going on there internally, but whatever. Even so, like, at this point, at this point, the only way to improve United is you need to take players from Up to Gaming and you take players from Team Envious. I don't think there's anything else you can do. I really don't. What, you're going to take 20 or 40% of Echo Fox again? The other team who's in that? Maybe you look at Ghost players. You're not going to improve. The only thing that you can do to improve is either you take Optic Gaming or Envy players, which, let's be honest, is never going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Or you sit down and you grind and you just get better. You practice. You know the other teams. Like, teams out there don't even know what other teams really do. They play against them all the time. They'll practice. They'll scrim. But does anyone really watch VOD? Does anyone actually watch events back and sit and study Optic Gaming? Why is Optic Gaming so good at this map? Why is Team Envious so good at this map? Does anyone do that? Because if I was playing for $1 million, bet you bum dollar, I'd be sat there watching every fucking video that ever existed. I'd be sat watching players' Twitches when they stream. I'd be taking notes. I would have a black document of everything they did. Like, literally everything. I feel like as a caster, I have done more of finding out team stats than coaches and players have for certain teams. Not all the teams. Not all the teams by any means. I think your Optic Gamings, your MVs, I know that they do cover stuff like that. Does a United do that? I don't know. Does Echo Fox do that? I don't know. Should they do it?
You should.
Absolutely.
Take every step to ensure that you're going to... Basically, if you prepare the most you can prepare when we get to the event, then it comes down to playing. You know,
and then if you consistently shit the bed, after preparing the best you possibly could, you're not breaking past, you know, your mark, then making a team change is okay. Then what else are you going to do? You're back squarely against the wall. But for a team like United, the only thing I think they can do to improve at this point, and it's no disrespect to the roster change they made, I know Zerp coming in and whatnot, no disrespect to them at all, or him at all. I just think the only thing you can do at this point now is you need someone from Up to Gaming, you need someone from Team Envious. Simple as that.
All right. Well, now the question for you is, you come from other games too. You've done Call of Duty, Halo, a lot of different esports. Is Gears of War the worst when it comes to roster mania? I know every other game does it too, but are they the worst?
No. Back in 2014, Call of Duty was a joke, dude. I had players retire for 5 minutes, come back. I'm on Team Envious. Oh, sorry, that was a joke. I'm going over to FaZe. Dude, Parasite changed team 3 times in one day. I believe Dito did the same thing. Scumpy left Optic Gaming because he had an argument with Nadeshot, and then he went back a week later. That was the worst I've ever seen roster mania. But the irony of the whole thing was, to go back to my point I made right at the beginning, guess what? The engagement on social media blew up. And it created these fascinating storylines where it was like, what the fuck just happened? Like, what is going on? So the next event, everyone was like, whoa, like, this is nuts. Like, we have like all these shuffled teams, which is great. But you can't consistently do that after every event, which is the big point, right? Like, having that in moments, or, you know, briefly, like having intimate, or what's the word, like intervals throughout a season where that's okay. Great. That's your storyline. That blows it up. That builds hype for the next event. But after doing it every event, you just can't do it. It's not sustainable. And I feel like I'm one of few who actually understand that.
Well, you're getting your word out there to everybody else, I'm pretty sure, so they hear what you're saying.
I would just love for someone to tell me I'm wrong.
Hey, if you want to tell him he's wrong, Everybody let him know. You want to debate it. But
I would love for someone to come tell me I'm wrong, because I will just roast your ass into oblivion.
I got you in the grill, remember? Little Benson grill. But onto the competitive talk here, and kind of to go back to what you said earlier, which I made you hold off on. Gears of War content, right? Yes. Where do we stand on content? Your thoughts on content, and we'll go from there.
Do me a favor, if you're watching this in chat, open up a new tab, okay? Type in youtube.com and search for Gears of War and tell me what comes up. Tell me what comes up. Because I'll tell you one thing it doesn't come up is any of your pro players' content. Oh, why does that matter? It doesn't matter. Yes, it does matter. It's down to the players to grow personalities, to grow their individual brands. Why is that important? Because then guess what? More people are going to watch the fucking thing. Surprise! That's how esports grows. Personality driven. people want to get close to individuals, okay? That's the number one thing people need to realize. It's very rare that you run into someone who says, I'm a fan of Team Envious, or I'm a fan of, E United. Oh, no, it's I'm a fan of franchise. I'm a fan of Kenny. I'm a fan of Demo. It's stories. It's individuals. But that doesn't exist. Why are people not vlogging events? That's free content, literally free. And here's the kicker. Here's the sweet kicker. You're throwing away money. You can get paid for that. That's more money than you would already make.
Now here, yeah, for sure. And I'm gonna just give not comparison, but this is no disrespect to Ashes either. But even with Twitch, when you go onto Twitch, and Ashes has like 100 something followers, and some of the pros have like 5 to 10, and you look at their streams, it's not because they're not great players, but I think they should have a lot more if they were putting up more content like YouTube, maybe a little more interactive too at times. Maybe they could build up following up. And we look over at YouTube side, a couple of people doing the casual thing. You know, we have a couple of people consistently putting up casual Gears of War stuff, horror gameplay, even some other competitive.
It doesn't even need to be Gears of War content. That's the fucking mind-blowing thing about this whole thing, right? If you're a professional player, you don't even need to play the fucking game. You can just sit there and vlog. Hey guys, today I had a fucking cheese omelet. It was cheesy. I'll see you tomorrow. And I guarantee you someone out there is going to be like, I like cheese. I like omelets. Holy shit, this is my favorite Gears of War player. Obviously, shitty example, but it goes all the way back. If you look at Call of Duty's growth, right? Let's be honest, Call of Duty was at one point in a very, very similar position to where Gears of War is right now. It is. That is a fact. You cannot argue that. That is just a fact. You go back in history and take a look at that. And then guess what happened? Literally one person said, I'm turning this into my fucking career. Nadeshot.
Yo,
the joke is Nadeshot made COD Esports.
Guy's set for life
Dude,
now.
Nadeshot is a very, very intelligent man. He is a genius. He grinded, dude. He fucking put in the time when no one else was willing to do it. No one else in Call of Duty wanted to stream. No one wanted to make YouTube videos. Nade put the fucking community on his back and said, fuck this, I'm gonna do it. He took himself to the top, and then you saw others rise with him as well. Now you see, like, Censor. Fucking hell, bro. Have you seen Censor's girlfriend? That's literally because of YouTube and what he does. Like, he's put himself into a phenomenal position. I mean, a phenomenal position.
Do you think it's also part of, like, do you think it's also part of that some people might have the mentality of, hey, we're just going to practice and play to win this event coming up, and we're not going to...
It's laziness. Absolute bollocks. No, it's laziness. It's absolute laziness. There's no team out there that practices that much where they couldn't wake up and make a video. It can take if you're playing play a game of fucking escalation if you really want to make Gears of War specific content. But again, it doesn't need to even be Gears of War. It can be a vlog. 10 minutes of your day. Tell me what you're doing that is interesting so I can become a fan of you. That is how this thing grows. It is as simple as that. And I can promise you this. You can throw as much fucking money at a game as you want. Oh, 10 million prize pool, great. But if there's no personalities and there's no fan interaction with those favorite personalities, the viewership is just never going to grow. Like, people just assume, oh, money is going to get us viewership, money is going to get us fans. No, it's fucking not. If the players are sat there just focusing on playing and no one's actually going out of their way to create a career from themselves, that's what I'm basically saying. I'm tasking any player who sees this to say, can I make a career for myself? What do you want to do in 5 years' time? What are you going to do if Gears of War just suddenly dies? What are you going to do? Do you want to live a normal day-to-day life?
You're going to go on Twitter and make the retirement tweet.
Right. How many retirement tweets have we seen of that, bro? Like, fuck it, I've seen hundreds of the retirement tweets. Next event, there's the guy that just retired. Oh, that's weird. You're fucking playing again? Who would have fucking thought? It's just not good enough. Like, if I was a player, I would look at this opportunity and say, all right, I can either go all in and work harder than I've ever worked in my entire life for what could be maybe a year, 2 years, maybe even 3 years. But then that could mean that I would never have to do a normal job or a day-to-day job again. Why would you not take that risk? Why would you not invest as fully as you possibly could to that? To me, that makes perfect sense. If you could turn YouTube, if you could turn playing video games, if you could turn streaming, any of that thing, all of those things, in fact, into your career, why would you not take that chance? I don't understand.
And at a time when this is the most we ever had too for Gears of War. So.
Exactly. Like you're in the perfect opportunity to do it because every Gears fight night we're throwing weapon skins at people, and people sit there and go, "Oh, this is really bad for Gears of War. People just come for the skins." Don't worry about why the people are there. That's down to the people, playing, and it's down to me and Blaze if we're the ones casting it.
I'm guilty sometimes too of that. I gotta be honest. I'm not gonna front. I'm guilty sometimes too of being like.
Everyone
Where's
is.
the Gears chat? I want to hear some competitive chat, and I got the skins all over the chat. But
exactly.
Here and there.
And I get it. Then it comes down to me, Blaze, whoever's casting. It comes down to the players. We're the ones which have to keep you there, right? We're the ones that have to say, new viewer who's here just for the skin, let me tell you why you have to stay. That's not on anybody else other than us. And if we do a shit job, I'll hold my hands up and say, I did a fucking shit job. That's on me, dude. That's completely on me. But for all these other people out there, let's be honest, there's a shit ton of people who play video games, a shit ton of people. It's down to the players. It is so crucial that the players really, really focus. And I'll give Ashes a lot of credit. He's a fucking coach, and he makes vlogs. He makes YouTube content. All the players should be doing it. Yeah. If you took the top 5 players, or the top 5 teams, that's 25 people creating content. Doesn't necessarily need to be about the game. It doesn't. You can go play whatever game you want. Doesn't matter. But especially, I'm going to throw Up to Gaming under the bus a little bit here.
Let's go.
If you're Up to Gaming, you've been blessed. You have been blessed. Hector is one of the smartest people I've ever met in esports. Period. The man is a genius. He gets it. If you're Up to Gaming, dude, you've got to be making vlogs because that is your chance, dude. Envy's not too far behind them, I would say, but if you're Hector, like, I mean, I know Hector. I know Hector's had the same conversation with the players. You got to create content. What are you doing?
I got a couple peeves, too, that I kind of, and not that I want to stare at your guys' faces, to be honest with you, but when I go into a Gears of War, like a pro player stream, a lot of times I got no camera. I got no face cam. At least if you have that camera on, you can kind of build the audience, interact with them. Not a lot are super interactive. Like, yes, they'll talk to the chat here and there. But and I know everybody's got to scrim and get better and improve. Not trying to focus on their chat. But, like, when you're not going super hard, I feel like there's opportunities to get in there and be more interactive with people and maybe run a fun stream, like run, like, different kind of things
Absolutely.
You can do. Like, there's so many ideas I have in my head or that I'm sure everybody else has in their head that you can implement to grow your audience. But I feel like it's just a lot of the Gears of War streams are scrims and voices on or off, camera on or off, doesn't matter. And that's pretty much all we got right now.
And again, that's something you have to look at. If I'm going to take this as a career, I'm going to invest $70, go on Amazon and buy a Logitech. Shit, if there's a player out there that doesn't have a Logitech camera, I have 3 right in front of me I don't use. I will literally send you one. Reach out to me and I will send you one to Kickstarter.
Let's give one away right now. Imagine that. Let's give one away right now. You can
literally look right fucking here. I'm not lying, dude. Here's fucking 2. I'm literally not using them.
Let's go. Use Logitech camera giveaway.
They're just sat here, dude. Like, if you're a player and you don't have a webcam, tell me. I will literally send you one to kickstart your streaming campaign. Like, it pains me because, again, as I said right at the very, very beginning, I am so emotionally involved within this community. I love this community. It's generally one of the best communities I've been involved with. I love the players. I love everyone at the top level. Like, people are just amazing. It's like I almost feel, and I said this at the very, very beginning to one of my friends who actually used to play Gears of War, I felt as if this was almost a community I should have fallen into, if that makes sense. Like, obviously everyone knows I'm a very hype guy. I love talking shit whenever I'm playing.
No, do you?
I'm crazy, I know, right? Who the fuck? I feel like this is very much a community where I feel more at home, I guess, if that makes sense. So for me, I'm already kind of sat here going, let's grow this thing. Let's blow this thing up. And I'm trying to do everything I can, but it comes again down to the players to do it for them. They have to be the ones that really just kind of say, all right, it's on us, dude. We have to make that play. We have to make that push because, again, if I'm a player, I want a season 2 of this thing. I want a season 3. I want a season 4.
I want all of it too.
I want it to grow. I want it to blow up. But it's just not going to happen if players don't put in the time. And again, it comes down to the players. It really, really does. And nothing else matters. It really doesn't. And it's super sad to say, but I would like to consider myself as experienced when it comes to esports, specifically console esports. I've seen them all. And I can tell you that's the winning formula.
Think about how I feel. You're fairly new to Gears of War. You're fairly new to the game. I've been watching this for years, so think about how I feel about it. My heart is breaking slowly. I hope we can I'm not gonna say turn it around, but I hope we can do more as a community and as players and personalities to really push the game. So I'm on board with all that, my friend. It's just it's hard to watch sometimes, to be honest. I want to see everybody grow.
No, it is.
Everybody.
It
do
is.
their thing.
Everyone should be growing. And yeah, okay, you can say, oh, well, the game this, the game that, and that can be true for streaming. Yeah, sure. A bad game is never going to have massive stream numbers, but good personalities will. Yeah. And it comes down to just being consistent, getting yourself into a grind. All right, you're going to have 2 viewers the first time you turn your stream on. Shit, so did everyone else that ever started out anywhere. You think when Lyric first turned on his stream, 50 fucking thousand people flooded in and were like, Lyric, I love you! No. Like, what kind of stupid mentality is that? He had to work. He had to grind. He put in the time. He made the investments. He invested in equipment. And now he reaps the reward. That's the same thing for the players. But honestly, I think the big thing is going to be YouTube. Has to be YouTube. I think players need to focus on it. I don't care if it's what the content is. Just needs to be content. Just needs to be fucking content.
How heavy do you weight streaming like consistently and kind of content like that with YouTube? What's the percentage here? Because, I mean, the Twitch community is still kind of the viewership on Gears on Twitch is still not great. I mean, it's beating a couple other games, but overall it's not to the point of if you're a Gears streamer, you're making some serious bank off Twitch yet.
Obviously, for me, I look at YouTube first. I think that's the logical step right now is just focus on YouTube, and then those fans that you will create, well, guess what? They'll see this is how it works. Okay, I'm gonna explain it in a very, very simple term, which hopefully if players are watching will understand. I make YouTube video. I upload YouTube video. Fan watches said YouTube video. Fan likes content. Fan watches more content. Fan thinks this guy's fucking great. Let me follow this guy on other networks. So follow your Instagram, follow your Twitter, follow everything. Then you tweet out, going to Paris this week, looking for a top placement. Here's the stream link. What do you think the fan is going to do when he sees it? More than fucking likely gonna click on that fucking link.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we've had people
it's
come
like
in.
Wow, dude. It's like I'm fucking Albert Einstein throwing equations. It's common sense, dude.
And there have been people, I mean, when we talk about, I guess, like consistency with that, there have been people who have come in and they've uploaded some YouTube videos. Say they did, one a day for maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. Maybe they did a couple a week. But consistently, there's been nobody on the competitive side of Gears of War that has done content over the course of time. A few have tried, but I'm still waiting for that moment to happen.
I know. Does Domes still upload? I actually gave him a shout out on the stream because I was so impressed.
I don't know.
Actually, I think it was
maybe
London.
here and there. I don't think it's at first he was kind of going in with it like every day or two. I don't think he's that frequently if he does that anymore. If I'm wrong, you can correct me. Somebody tell me. But I don't think he's on that level. I think he was doing it from his Xbox too, to be honest too. So he was kind of limited in his resources as far as like editing and making the higher quality videos, like with the over, what I'm talking about.
Even so, dude.
It's a good. I mean, trying is enough.
How many people have this, dude? How many people have an iPhone? Probably, if you would take a percentage of the players, probably say 60%, maybe more. It's not hard to just fucking go like this and vlog. Syndicate use his fucking phone to vlog for years. Syndicate, one of the most subscribed YouTubers of all time, used his cellular device to create content. Wow, dude. Mind-blowing, dude. It's almost like this thing has a fucking high-quality camera in it. Who would have thought?
Well,
it tilts me.
Anything else you want to touch up on the content side of it, or pretty much we got everything out?
I feel like players are throwing away free money. And content is the number one thing to grow a game.
Going forward from now,
from
this moment forward, if everybody's listening to you right now, the number one thing you want to get out there is the content to grow and produce content.
Absolutely. Just get on YouTube and vlog, dude. Vlog at events. Because the kicker is, and this is the sweet part for me, the personalities within Gears of War are probably some of the best in all of esports. There's some phenomenal stories in Gears of War. Players are fucking hilarious. Not even just your top players. Everyone. There are so many good stories, and everyone knows each other as well, which is the super sweet part, right? It almost makes it easier. You have players who have known each other for 10 years, so there's no reason when, for example, Kenny makes a YouTube video, it's not shared by Toy Soldier.
I'm going to shout out PR real quick. PR has made a decent amount of content, actually. Coach of Ghost Gaming on YouTube, and doesn't, no offense to him, does not get a lot of views, not get a lot of plays, and I think he tries to do just breakdowns of like teams sometimes, like scrims or actual matches. So props to my man PR for at least trying to do that for a little while. I don't know the frequency he does it, but I do see a fair share on my Twitter timeline and popping up here and there. So
That's good.
Appreciate you,
But
Doc.
again, everyone needs to do it, and everyone needs to share it. Like that's the number one piece of advice I could give you is if you're a pro player and you see another pro player make content, share it. Why would you not share it? Because if he blows up, you're gonna blow up too. It can't be. There shouldn't be this greed mentality where it's like, oh well, if he's making a video, if I retweet that video, then he's gonna make more money than me. Well, then guess what? Get off your ass and make a fucking video yourself. Wow, crazy, right? Like shocker. Everyone should share it because everyone in Gears of War, to me at least, feels like a family. But people have got to start making content, especially around events. Because as soon as you start making content around events, like if you're any professional player, right, and you make a vlog of an event and you show how much fun you're having, as a fan, if I watch that, I'm going to sit there and go, fuck me, dude, that event looked great. I'm going to go to the next one. Then guess what? You start getting crowds. Then guess what? People start going specifically for players. You can ask Blaze. If Blaze is still in the chat, ask him about the last Call of Duty event he went to. He was mind blown by the amount of just individual support that players in different teams had. There was just so much of it because all of these teams are out there making content. Again, content is king.
I mean, look at some of the videos I see too, like behind the scenes kind of stuff and content like that. It gets a lot of views. I mean, even if it's trash talking, like you look at, I remember on my timeline there was that little video from the Corona Land out in California I went to, hesitations, just a minute video, just talking some crap, just somebody recording behind him, all over Twitter. Everybody's blown up, like, oh, where was this? I want to go to the event. It looks crazy, et cetera, et cetera. There's not enough of that kind of stuff. There's not enough. We see them play the game. We see them brought out on stage, and a little 1 minute interview Farouk or you or Blaze might do, but there's not enough behind the scenes and player associate. Like, there's not enough. Like, we don't know who the players are still. We don't know like all about them.
And that's
the pros.
And
I mean, you get to learn a little more about, but like a lot of times when players break through onto that circuit, it's like, where'd he come from? I have no idea who this guy is, but I wish there was kind of a backstory we can go on. But either way, more content. Like Benson said, get out there, make some content. If you need some help, I'm sure he or myself or anybody can help you out.
I'll help. I will literally help any player out who's trying to grow himself, because I have nothing but respect for someone who is willing to take that risk and grind. Like, I completely empathize with how difficult it can be. Like, there's some people out there with kids, right? There's some people out there working jobs, and they can probably watch this and say something like, oh, well, you don't know, I have it tough. I'm fully aware that people are out there that have it tough, but no one has ever made success or achieved success by doing something that's easy. If they did, everyone would be successful. You have to be willing to make sacrifices, and you have to be willing to work hard to get those results. But
maybe the Cash Me Outside girl, kind of easy. But.
All right, that bitch. Don't even get me started on that bitch. Okay, I don't know
man.
what that was, but still, I really think it just comes down to just making content, because you have a great opportunity to change your entire life. Why would you not take that risk? Why would you not take that risk?
I don't know. Been waiting for a long time for it, so it should be taken. Either way, Gears content, make more content. We're going to go on before we get on tilt even more and keep shouting at you. Or just Benson. I'll be here just waiting. All right, so continuing the competitive talk for a tiny bit. Gears of War, esports. Again, pretty new to esports still. It was not supported for a long time. It wasn't called esports Gears for a long time. How do you think it stacks up versus other esports currently? And going along with that, besides the content, as we know, what can we do for Gears Esports that can help grow it and make it better?
Okay. In terms of how it stacks up against other esports, I think it's doing great. I think it's got fantastic growth. I know everyone from the higher ups is super happy with how this year so far has gone. Obviously, we need a second season. I'm going to pray that we get a second season, because I love the game. In terms of how can we improve, I'm just going to be brutally honest. The negativity has to stop, man. There's so much negativity that goes on. And, like, I'll see people out there who are just like, oh, like, perfect example is I saw an individual who I'm not going to name actually tweet out saying, when are they gonna fix ranked, dude? When they fix ranked, I'll come play.
We all know who you're talking about anyway. But go ahead.
Then rank gets fixed, and I see the following tweet: it took them so fucking long to fix ranked, dude. I don't know why anybody would waste their time in this community. Like, what? Yeah. What, dude? Like, excuse me? Like, they fix something that you wanted to fix, and then you don't. People like that are toxic. People like that need to just remove themselves from the equation. People like that, if you follow people like that, unfollow them. literally as simple as that.
It's gonna happen here. It's gonna happen here and there though, because I mean,
you're always going to have comments,
Gears of War
right?
is so
You're always
again,
going to have
it's so.
comments.
Like I said, I'm not gonna say I'm not 100%. I'm 100%, safe here either. I've done things too. I've not done anything really crazy, I think, but this is like my baby, And when I'm like, I'm trying to just nurse my little baby, and they're not letting me do it. I'm like, please, here and there, but it comes along with the Gears of War passion. But overall, I do agree with you on the negativity. Try to keep it to a minimum if you can.
It just becomes toxic. If I was a new fan of Gears of War, right? If I stumbled across AC and I was like, yo, this is fucking hype, dude. Let me follow some players. Let me follow, some people in the community. You see who players tweet at. You see who big members of the community tweet at. You start getting a big following within the community. You can follow probably close to 200 people, maybe 300 people in Gears of War, and then you'd have like a really good solid following, or a good solid kind of follow base, right? You'd have a good understanding of how the community works. And then all of a sudden you see just toxicity everywhere. You'd be like, why the fuck am I going to waste time with this? I'm not going to waste time with this. I certainly wouldn't. If I all of a sudden went to, let's say, Player Unknown turned into an esport, and I went to fucking join that community as an esport, and I just saw that everyone was toxic, I would pack my bags and fucking peace out quicker than you could blink. Not worth it. People have got to realize, especially with stupid shit like skins, like, it's a good thing. It is a good thing. There is no way you can argue it's a bad thing. Oh, well, people just tune in and it's inflating the numbers. Okay. And? Like, again, as I brought up earlier on, that's on me and Blaze. It's on whoever's casting it. To keep those people and to entice those people. And it's on the gameplay as well. Like, that's how it grows. But toxicity just has to be removed. It has to. There's always going to be some. Of course there is. Of course, any community, you're going to have toxic people. And that's just a fact. And sometimes we like to laugh at those toxic people because it is enjoyable and it is funny. Sometimes they tweet just utter nonsense. But for the most part, especially the people in massive, massive influential positions, cannot be toxic. Just it has to stop.
All right. So that's the side of the players. Now, last question on competitive talk is going to be for you. You don't want to hear. So the game types, escalation. Right.
I knew you were bringing this.
You don't know. You don't know. I'm gonna say. Well, you might know what I'm gonna say.
I know where you're gonna go with this.
Well, I'm not gonna go specifically. I don't think. But do you think that Gears of War should be a 2-game type game? I'm not saying execution specifically, but maybe a new game type they came out with that would build up execution. We're talking about a game that has had one game type competitive for years and years and years, and now we have escalation coming in, a new game mode. A lot of players, some of them are turned off by it because they do miss their nostalgia of execution, and it's a different style of gameplay, right? First time a respawn game mode other than King of the Hill is going to be a part of Gears of War competitive. And very different. 3 hills, all sorts of mechanics in the game. Do you think it should be a multi-game mode competitive game, or do you like it just escalation, one mode, and that's it?
It should stay one game mode, and that is it. Let me explain why. I'm going to list off a couple of games that you may have heard of. Dota, League of Legends, Counter-Strike. I think you could make a big argument. They're the 3 biggest esports in the world right now. Fuck, throw Hearthstone in there if you want. Shocker, they're all one game type. They're all one thing, right? Legitimately, one game type. You tune in and you're watching the same thing. Okay, some have different maps. That can be kind of confusing. Can be a little confusing. But for the most part, it's one game type. The worst thing in the world that could happen to Gears of War is more than one game type. I'm just going to say it right now.
Now,
it just
the question is, to build on that, what if, this is not for Gears of War 4, or it could be, who knows, but what if Gears of War 5, we take execution, which is like we take a game mode where it's one life. Counter-Strike, perfect example. One life game mode. Everybody, you know how big Counter-Strike is. Gears of War comes out with a new game mode. It's one life. They throw some kind of twist on it where it's, I don't know if it's a bomb kind of thing. Like Gears of War is different. You can't just throw a bomb mode in there and expect it to work.
I'm so glad. Thank God you said that because I was about to just.
If they made it work though, if they made it work somehow, there's some way. I have ideas in my head, by the way. I'll pitch it to Coalition if you want.
Okay.
If they made it work somehow, some way, do you think it could, should, and would work replacing escalation for the next game?
If it was better than escalation, absolutely. Right? Absolutely. The biggest issue with any one life game mode is going to be third person, right? If you had a neutral bomb site and a bomb to a game of Gears of War, I will tell you exactly what will happen. Player will plant bomb, player will move away, and player will sit behind wall and third person bomb. The second you try and defuse bomb, player peeks, player kills. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, the bomb is weird in Gears for sure. But
It just
there's
won't.
some
And then
things you could. There's something.
there's definitely some things
something.
that I agree. There's definitely some stuff, but I think anyone who's considering search and destroy as a Gears of War game type is insane. It just won't work. I've argued with Toby about this so many times. It just simply will not work. Can you figure out a different game mode? Probably. Absolutely. I mean, escalation. You look at what escalation is. It's a round-based domination, right? They took 2 game modes and basically went. I think it's a good game mode. I really do. It's a bit fucking long. Not gonna lie. It definitely drags on a little bit. 210 points to me is a very random win condition. Oh, well, people when the game first came out, etc., it was tested, blah blah blah. People didn't know how the fuck to play the game when it came out. It was a brand new game. People don't understand. Now that teams and players know how to play the game, 210 is just random. It's just a weird number that a new viewer will look at and say, why is it 210? Why?
Yeah. And I wouldn't. I mean, the 210 is one thing. I mean, if you could redo it, it's easy to say now because we played it, I guess. But I would cut the rounds to 7 somehow, make it a first of 4, maybe add an extra round on with extra 2-second respawn. One extra. It could be done with 1 extra weapon spot on the map somewhere. To add that round on, or you gotta make you need new maps.
There's tweaks.
You can't do
tweaks,
you
right?
can't do with these current maps, but like say you made new maps for escalation, you could add an additional weapon spot or additional spot to have that extra round you tack on after 6. So 7 rounds, first to 4. It's one idea, but you can definitely tweak it for sure going forward.
I think it needs to be tweaked. I think if there was a season 2, I think it has to be tweaked.
I'm not gonna lie, I love Gears, but it is draining for me sometimes. And I can't imagine the players that go and at the lands during pools in the bracket. You're playing crazy amount of hours. Best of 3s are and a marathon. It's a marathon now. It's not even a game anymore. Now, who can survive the longest? Who can stare at that screen the longest and keep their mentality? They're on sleep sometimes. They're on energy drinks. They're hyped up Sometimes.
I can tell you, casting a double series is one of the most painful things I've ever had to do in my life. It's so hard, dude. It's so hard. And then I'm sat there thinking, I'm this fucking tired. How the hell do the players feel? We talk about why are comebacks so difficult? Why are reverse sweeps so difficult? If you want to beat a team twice in a grand final, dude, that's Jesus Christ, man. It's damn near impossible. Damn near impossible. Fucked Up the Gaming was able to do it is impressive in itself. That we don't really talk about that as much as we should. I've said a few times, fatigue is real. And people are like, no, it's not. Trust me, yes, it is. Yes, it is. It is so unbelievably real. I've noticed a couple of people in the chat as well. I do want to point this out. I think Blaze brought it up originally. Why is it if I have 2 hills and you have 1, I get 1.5 points? Why is it not 2? Do you know how difficult that makes maths?
I know. That could be I don't know the coalition or the people who program the game, but I feel like that's something that has to be able to be adjusted in the settings right now. They should be able to go in there and change the 2.
Just like that.
If we get a season 2, maybe that's something that we can talk about with them. Or you can talk about with them.
I would say at that point, if you change it to 2 to 1, you can make the win condition 250 points. If you really, really wanted to. If you want it to be crazy, you could even increase the respawn timers, and then you kind of create even more of a one life scenario rather than the 10 seconds, which seems high. When you say 10 seconds, you're like, whoa, 10 seconds? Whoa. It's not really that high with how close the spawn points are to the home hills. I think there's a lot of different things that you can experiment with, but if you want to experiment with all these things, guess what? Players have to be willing to sit back and say, all right, let's fucking test. Let me play test. Let me actually practice. Let me, figure stuff out and then give actual feedback.
I would like to say
oh, it sucked.
Yeah. Even with the maps too, I feel like the map testing, there should have been the pro players could have got together, ran a stream or something, somebody could have spectated or whatever it may be, test all those new maps just have everybody tune in and watch. Tell me what you think. Test how balanced they are, the weapons, the setups, etc., etc. I feel like a lot of the new maps when it came out for testing time, it was like they played it once or twice, and this map is not set up well, it's terrible.
Right.
Why is it bad? Let me from a spectator point of view, you got to remember too. Big part of Gears is a spectator experience. So some of the maps, they have to look good too. And the only way you do that is test them out is you gotta. That's why I always preach for the lighter maps, the brighter maps, just because if it looks good.
That's right. If it looks good, people are gonna want to watch it. But I think I tweeted I think it was Affinity or it may have been Eternity a couple of weeks ago. I was like, I wouldn't. Or no, it was Hudson actually. Sorry, it was Hudson. And I said I wouldn't even care if there was one map, and it was the most competitive map of all time. I would not care. I legitimately, that's absolutely A-okay for me. If it was the most competitive map you could possibly think of, and everyone played it and everyone practiced it, I would not care. I think that could. I'm not saying. I'm not saying that's how it should be. I think
gridlock.
Obviously, it could get incredibly boring to watch. It could get incredibly boring to play from a player's perspective. But you see people out there, for example, take Counter-Strike as an example, play Dust 2 for weeks on end, right? League of Legends, different game, you can't really compare. But I think there should be more maps. I think, honestly, there should be 8 maps with how the pick and bans are done. The last map as it stands is just kind of, it's this, something Blaze has been pretty vocal on himself, and it makes a lot of sense. I think there's definitely some tweaks.
Do you think that if someday, I don't know about Gears 4 or this circuit, but do you think someday, if we stick with this game mode, do you think there's a time for weapon bans too? Or just stick with the map bans? Do you think like certain weapons should, like maybe you get one ban? I don't know how it would work. I haven't gone over this in my head yet. But
if you were to reduce the rounds, then you're reducing the amount of weapons which could be placed. So then you could theoretically ban out weapons. Does that make sense?
Well, it depends. Unless you do what I was thinking before, add an extra round on, then actually one more weapon, right?
I would say if you reduced it to first to 5, you could then theoretically remove 2 weapons because it would be one off each half essentially. So then you could actually ban out weapons if you really wanted to, and then you add a whole different element.
That'd be huge, honestly, because you know what teams use certain things, you know what their strengths are. You take that away from them, you take the sniper M bar. I mean, it's weird though.
Then you sit there and you try and explain that to someone, and they're going to be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Like that is the number one problem with escalation right now, as it is it's just so difficult to explain. Like, if you want to explain it to someone who's never...
That goes to my last question here about I said the last one was last one, but last question about the competitive talk is, do you want, whatever you want to word it, that we should bring an analyst desk to Gears of War to help with explaining the game mode? Because, I mean, to be honest, a new viewer turns in, and here's Benson or Blaze. Welcome, everybody, to Gears of War Escalation. It's a 3-hill game mode. There's 2 hills, your home hills, 1 hill is a neutral hill. First to 210 wins a round, or you can triple cap it. Every round, if you lose, you get to place a weapon. Respawns go up by 2 seconds each round. At round 6, we reset. It's like, what? I just tuned in to see Gears of War, and I have to hear like a lecture of how to play the game mode.
Yep, and when I can promise you this, and I know for the hardcore fans it sucks, right? I can promise you this. I sat there for hours on it. Blaze can attest to this. Hours on end trying to make that as short as I possibly could, but explain it as well as if a new viewer tuned in, they would understand what the hell is going on.
You can't shorten it. It's like impossible to shorten it.
I can't make it shorter. It's about 30 to 35 seconds as it stands right now, with 2 people reading. What do I need to cut out of it? There's so much information. There's so many things going on. I recommended to create video content. Pump out video content. We can put it on the stream, we can put it on social, and just explain the game mode, explain how it works. You can go into a little bit more depth as well if it was a video. Imagine if you went to commercial break-in, how to play escalation played. Okay, your hardcore audience is probably sit there going to say, what the fuck is this? Go get a coffee, go get a fucking glass of water, who cares, right? It's about getting those new reviewers. If you're that much of a hardcore fan, then you should understand that you want to grow your game, you're going to have to cater to the newer audience. People that are so one-minded or one-dimensional that they don't think about that, it's hard to call you a hardcore fan at that point. You're just so focused through tunnel vision.
A whole another topic I can go on for a while, but we don't want to keep everybody here all night. Maybe a future stream will get like, should we get a panel of people one stream coming up? Maybe we can put all that together and get everybody roasting each other in here.
The answer to your question though is absolutely Gears of War needs an analyst desk. Absolutely.
Right. You heard it here.
Absolutely.
You heard it here first.
It needs it. To me, it's crazy that it doesn't have it.
Hashtag Intel. Are we gonna get one?
I have been working damn hard to try and get one. Issue is there's a lot of things which kind of prevent it right now. I personally am on the side of the fence where I say I think I could personally get an analyst desk to work, and I would love to try it in Vegas. I can't tell you if it's going to happen in Vegas because I don't even know. I would love to see if it would work in Vegas. I just think we need one, dude. As a host for the Call of Duty desk, and I've done it every event so far this year, and I'm going to be doing it all through the LAN League, I can tell you analyst desks are a well-needed crutch to any event. Any event. It's just so important.
Even
Makes
from
no
like
sense
even
not to
from
have it.
Waldo being on Fight Night that one night. I mean, I'm gonna be honest.
It was
with
fun.
you.
It was good, right?
Analytical. The way talking about the game of Gears of War analytically, very few people have done it in the past. We haven't really seen that, and we need it now more than ever because the game mode, like you said, it's very difficult to kind of follow sometimes for newer viewers. Just hearing like that can not only help and grow the community and help explain, but like even amateur players, they can learn about the game and what Oh, I'm supposed to throw a smoke there. I didn't know. How am I gonna know that unless I'm playing a freaking a top 2 team? Like, oh, I shouldn't push in this situation. Oh, this is a great angle for me. Like, why did he push there? Like, that kind of stuff can not only help grow the casual community and the viewers, but, like, the players, too. Maybe help close the gap a little bit between amateur to pro. So I'm in agreement, too, on the analyst desk. I hope it comes. We'll see, though. Like you said, we don't know for sure. Or maybe
My fingers are...
maybe
my finger...
Maybe
look at me.
Look at me. Do you know? Is it coming or not?
My fingers are crossed, dude. I have made a pitch for it. I have provided a lot of feedback for it. I'm doing as much as I can to get it because I genuinely do believe that it is extremely, extremely needed. And I think it would just be a big crutch for events. It takes a lot of pressure off the talent at events. It really would just be a phenomenal place to talk Gears of War. You don't even need to go too involved. Like, it's just explaining it for the newer viewers. Like, my whole thing, in case you haven't realized, is how to grow this community and how to grow this game. And it comes with those newer viewers who may be there just for skins, who may actually just have the stream unmuted, right? And they're listening. And then all of a sudden they're like, yo, this sounds pretty cool. Let me check this out. They sit, they watch. Oh, dude, fucking Toy Soldier just got a 4-piece. This guy's a god. Let me follow him on social media. Let me search him up. That's how things grow. It's so organic and it's so, so, so important.
All right. Well, we're going to go over to the rapid fire portion of the show, Benson. Before we do that, I got to shout out a couple people real quick just because a couple people helped me out, and I do appreciate them.
Okay.
We'll just give them their love for a second. So the headset I've been wearing, everybody, basically what I'm wearing here, it's called the Mod Mic 5. It's a microphone you can attach to any pair of headphones. So if you got a $20 pair of headphones, $100, you got some Beats, whatever the hell you got, it clips on the side, it's adhesive, it's magnetic, and it's a high-quality mic. It's got an omnidirectional switch, so if you don't want to sit there with a desktop mic or get a big boom arm or get like something, other kind of contraption, because I hate that stuff myself, check this out, Mod Mic 5, if you want to be broadcasting on Twitch or doing commentary, pretty good. Also, Catalyst Mints. I take these guys to keep me up at night and get these long streams in. Tastes very good. No sugar in them. Better than an energy drink. Hashtag sell at deluxe. It's all good, though, because we're coming back into there. People, I gotta let them know. This is a high-quality microphone.
Best comment. Super Purple Rupee. My ad block isn't working.
Oh, these are ads I put. These are my own ads. These are my own
I know, that's the
personal
best
ads.
thing. That's the best thing. Oh
Can't
my
go over
god,
that.
dude.
Anyway,
That was
for those of you, rapid fire, if you don't know, we're going to do 10 questions. Some of them are serious-ish. Some of them are kind of funny. I'm going to fire them at Benson. He can answer, a sentence or two pretty quick, and then we'll just go on to the next, and then we'll move on to the last portion of the show. So, Benson,
okay.
Are you ready?
As ready as I'm ever gonna be.
Gotta get the music.
I feel like I'm on like a game show right now, dude. The pressure's on, dude.
I gotta get the music for you. Where's my music at? Oh, here it is. Okay,
First,
ready?
$100. Dun dun dun.
All right, are you ready?
I'm ready.
On a scale of 1, let me read it. Okay, ready.
Oh, he's choking. Deluxe choking.
I closed that thing down. Hold on. Start over. Here we go.
Deluxe is shaking. Deluxe is shaking.
All right, ready? Go. Serious face.
Okay.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how mad do you get when Guy Blaze mispronounces a word?
10.
Do you have a poster of Jeter above your bed? Not Derek Jeter.
I do. I actually do. It's creepy. I know. I'm sorry.
Who is going to win Gfinity Paris?
Up to gaming.
Fallout, Blaze, Toby, Waldo. Best wingman.
Blaze.
Why?
He's just very, very. I mean, look at the guy, dude. He's so muscular, dude. Like, you're just with him at places like, yo, this is a good guy. That woman is literally going to be so wet already, dude.
Oh, baby, we're getting savage.
I mean,
all right, back to the questions. Shh. Better trash talk. Gears of War, Call of Duty.
Gears of War. That's not even a question.
Is it more savage or just the content's better?
Savage, dude. Savage, dude. So savage.
How many American football games have you been to?
0.
Would you ever dye your hair a different color?
No.
What's your favorite alcoholic drink?
That's gonna be a strawberry daiquiri.
A strawberry daiquiri? Roast this man in the chat, please.
They're
What the
fucking
hell?
good. They're fucking good.
Oh my god.
Tell
All
me
right.
I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
Lost it all control tonight. What's the biggest bet you've ever made?
Biggest bet as a
Gambling bet, yeah. Because I know you gamble here and then play poker.
I gambled $5,000 on red and won.
And you won. That's crazy, man. First of all, it's crazy. All right, last question. It's a serious one. Best player in Gears of War.
Best play. In terms of what? In terms of individual ability?
Oh, you want me to get specific with it? I'm just saying, you got one player. You got the Gears of War esports $1 million circuit. There's a draft. Benson, you're a coach. You get the #1 pick in the league. Who you
I'm
taking?
drafting mental every day of the week.
Mental.
Has to be.
No
Mental's a god,
surprise.
dude.
No surprise there, my friend.
Come, dude, he's so good. He's the best, dude. He's the most clutch player in the game. I don't care what you say.
That's Solars though. That's Solars though.
I take mental over Solars. I would consider Solars as pick 2.
All right. Well, it sounds like 1v1 Solars versus Mental next week. We'll have that going down for you. if Mental loses, then Benson has to dye his hair. If Solars
Dude,
loses,
what color though? What color would it be? That's the thing.
like a bright blonde, like a blonde or at least blonde tips, like Fallout head.
I think I could rock that, dude.
I'll take Solars and I'll do something too if I lose.
Okay.
right.
I'm with it. I feel confident, very confident with mental, very confident.
We got 4 questions from Twitter, by the way, to close it out. So I'm just gonna read them off here, put it on stream for you as soon as I can. Boom, there we go. All right, Antic Violet. This is the first question from Antic Violet. How did you start casting? How did you start your casting career? Did he compete before he started casting? If so, what game did he compete for?
So I competed at some locals, never really competed on a professional level, I guess it's fair to say. Originally started with Call of Duty back in Black Ops 1. I was a pub star in MW3, like grinded the shit out of that game. Massive pub star. And then I remember I actually watched my first Call of Duty esport event. And this is going to sound very, very rude, but I'm just going to say it. I watched it. I was like, I could do that job. I could cast. I could talk over video games. I could do it better than these guys. Turned out it was fucking pretty hard at the time, actually. I had to put in a lot of practice, but I fell in love with
grind for sure.
I fell in love with it. I fell in love with entertaining. I fell in love with just getting to know different people in the communities. Like, I just loved it, dude. And then all of a sudden, for me, Call of Duty blew up. I was kind of at the forefront of Black Ops 2, obviously casted the world champs in that. Same thing with Advanced Warfare, Ghosts as well, all those games. And then something really happened at work, which is when there was obviously the period of time with MLG and it being bought out. We didn't have Call of Duty. Call of Duty went to ESL. That's when I started doing Halo stuff. Had so much fun with Halo. The Halo players in community, they're fucking awesome. And then kind of last year when Gears was announced with MLG, I was like, I would love to give this a shot casting. I would love to do it. Luckily enough, I had Blaze kind of there as well to help me through and give me some insight and guide me through. Really help me learn the game. But the rest is just that same energy I had from day one. Like, I love being on stream. I love trying to entertain viewers. Like, nothing makes me happier than when I get people saying you're so entertaining, or you made me laugh, or like that was so fantastic listening to you. Stuff like that. Like, that's what really like means the most to me. Like when people tweet, "Oh, you're my favorite commentator," it's like, thanks, I appreciate that, but I want to make you laugh. You know what I'm saying? I want to be entertaining as possible.
Try to be. Yeah, you do that. You do that very well.
Thank you.
Question number 2, coming from Shark. He's going to ask you, what's your most memorable Gears moment? I think I know the answer to this, but go ahead.
Yeah,
if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
London winners bracket final has to be, bro. Has to be. United beat Optic Gaming, dude. Holy shit! I watched that one back, and I could watch it right now. I could watch that last round, dude, and I just remember looking at Blaze, dude. I looked at him and I was like, this is happening. Like, his heart was thumping, dude.
Yeah,
I was
Gears of
like,
War is a game too, where like I remember when I was doing it too. It's like when you're next to the caster and all you see is the gameplay, you're usually on their shoulder. Would you see that? Did you see that?
Dude.
It's definitely memorable for, I'm sure, everybody, because that was a big win for United. And then we saw what happened afterwards, but we already went over that.
it had me freaking out, dude. When I saw Dispenser pushing up and dude, the instant play came through and you just see Optic Gaming one by one just fall. Holy shit! And that was the realization when they hit you.
The
They said
camera cut was
22-second
perfect.
respawn.
Whoever was on that camera was perfect. Cut
Oh.
as soon as they won.
Right?
They're hugging. They're like you can tell.
It was
Again, the passion of
nuts.
Gears of War. It was like we finally beat
was-
these guys. Like I'm so happy. They lost in the end, but for that moment, it was really a great moment for Gears of War. So
It was
Happy
good.
one.
It was good.
question number 3 of 4. We're gonna go over to my man Render Enrich, the coach for Render. So they're doing very well for themselves. Amateur team up and coming. So it's kind of like a 3-part question. Who is your
Okay.
favorite person to cast with? I don't know if you can even answer that, but that's what he asked. Who's your favorite person to
Okay.
cast with? Doesn't say Gears either. Just says person to cast with. So I don't know if he means Gears specifically or another game. I'm assuming he means Gears. Favorite food, USA food, and favorite British food.
Okay, I'm gonna go in reverse. Favorite British food is crumpets. It's ironic, but they're just so fucking good. Favorite American food, I would probably say New York pizza. There is
Ooh,
no better
baby.
pizza in the fucking world that is just fuego.
I miss you, New York.
And then what was the first question again?
Favorite person to cast with.
Favorite person to cast with. All right, so
If you don't have to. I mean, I'm not gonna. I'm
Gears
kinda
of
under this
War, it has to
microscope,
be,
but
Gears of War, it has to be Blaze, dude. We have good chemistry. Like I feel like we've not even known each other that long, but I feel like he's a brother already. Like we're working out together, we're going to the gym. Like he's just generally a great guy, like fantastic guy. You take outside of the Gears of War community, I think me and Revan or me and Mr. X, Fwiz, I would say you'd look between those three, and I think you could say, like they're probably the three that I cast the best with and have the most fun with, if that makes sense. So
I got you.
There was a lot of names there, but if it was Gears of War, it has to be Blaze.
all right. Last question before we send you on your way to eat your crumpets and tea. Gonna be number 4, coming from Hexel 115. What is your favorite aspect about casting Gears that makes it different from other games you cast?
I would say that, first of all, the game type is very, very different. It creates a different hype almost, but it's the energy in the room. It's the energy, man. Like there's something about it. It reminds me of I don't want to say Call of Duty at the beginning, but it's just, you can see how much it means to some of the players when they're playing, and the energy the players bring, and the energy that some of the crowds bring as well. Like I'll be sat there and I'll be like looking at my screen, I'll be casting, and like very often I have a couple of people at the AC actually say, "Why do you do this?" Like if my casting screen is where you guys are, and the crowd is behind me, which is normally how the camera shot's set up, what I'll do is when Blaze is talking, I'll actually kind of just turn around, and I'll like take in the atmosphere, if that makes sense, and I'll really kind of put myself in those situations as if like, oh, like if I was in this crowd, like how is the crowd going? Is the crowd hype? Is the crowd not hype? Like, are the players getting hype? Do I want to build off the player hype? And obviously I'm still paying attention to what Blaze is saying, but it's so unique. Like that the energy in the room is really just so different to any other game I've ever seen. And it just puts me in just such a good mood. Like whenever I get to like first game of the day, like normally I hate waking up early. Like first game of the day, an event is normally a pain in the ass. But with Gears, it's just not, dude. Like it's just fun. Like just being there up early, it's a great time. It's a great time.
All right. Well, I lied to you, but the last part of the show, the last thing we're gonna say,
Okay.
it's a part
Okay.
where it can get savage. It
Okay.
might not get savage, but I do it every week.
Okay.
Now's your time. The floor is yours. It's called shout outs and call outs. Shout out whoever you want. Give your plugs, your props, your whatever you want to do. And then your call outs, if you want to call anybody out, you want maybe a player came at you. Maybe you want to call out a certain player for a move they made, a team for a move they made, whatever you want. You can do that as
Okay.
well. You don't have to. But shout outs and call outs, go ahead, and then we'll take you out of here.
All right. Well, shout out to, first of all, everyone that tuned into the stream. You guys are awesome. Shout out to you as well, Deluxe, for having me on the show. It's a great show. Hopefully it continues to grow because there's been some pretty awesome moments on this so far from everything I've seen myself. Shout out to the Gears of War community as well for being embracing as well. It's always difficult when you join a new community. It can be tough at times, but I've been, very, very happy with my time in Gears of War, I guess it's fair to say. Like the players have been great. The community has been great. Everyone that I've met from the coalition, everyone's been wonderful. In terms of the call outs,
You don't have to. It's just there in case you want to get savage.
baby.
Hold on,
Let me tell you. I'm gonna call out the players for being lazy and not creating content. Because if you want your game to grow and you want a career, pull your finger out your ass and start making content. And any team who keeps making team changes after event after event after event, learn from your ways,
Adapt.
man. It doesn't work. Put in the time, put in the practice. Practice makes well, it doesn't make perfect, but practice fucking helps, okay? It helps. You're not going to beat the best teams in the game by continuously changing team. It does not work. And if you're a negative little fucker on Twitter, I'm going to block you. You're gone, dude. I'm going to tell everyone to block you because I hate those people. Those people tilt the shit out of me. Positivity, create content, grows Gears of War.
Let's go. All right,
Drops
Benson.
microphone. I'm going to drop my phone.
Thank
Bam.
you.
Put it, don't worry.
Thank you for coming on the show. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I do appreciate you all. I love you all. Gears of War community, as you know. 10 years, man. 10 years of this stuff. I'm not going anywhere. I'll leave when the game is gone, and I'm not trying to have it happen anytime soon. So let my man sit here. Content, create it, stream, play it. If you got any questions, hit me up. I got a bunch of DMs usually, but I'll try to get to whoever I can. I'm not trying to sound like Hollywood or anything, but I try to contact everybody back that I can. We appreciate you. We love you, Gears of War community. We'll see you next week on For the Bread. Who will be here? Will somebody get called out? Will we have Demo, Blaze, Benson? We don't know. That's why we're Gears of War. We do what we do. I'm going to host somebody right now because that's how we do as well. We support the community. We'll see you next week. For the Bread. Let's get it. A Lux Raid. And, oh yeah, by the way, before I do that, let's make sure we all get the hashtag in the stream. Deluxe Sellout. Let's go.
I love it. Hashtag Deluxe